Steelers trade rumors are escalating as a report has revealed a huge move in Pittsburgh. My name is Peyton Kleppe, and on today's episode of Steelers Digest, we'll be breaking down the latest Pittsburgh Steelers reports and analysis regarding the Pittsburgh Steelers football team. As the Steelers are looking to solidify their defense, they have been linked to a defensive star that could change their defense. Before we get into the video, if you guys are not already currently subscribed to the channel, just click that subscribe button down below. We are trying to get to that 3,000 subscribers mark. So the Steelers are linked to Jaylen Ramsey, and according to Adam Schefter, Jaylen Ramsey will get traded. He's going to get traded before training camp, and the Dolphins are unwilling to take on any of Jaylen Ramsey's guaranteed money to facilitate a trade. This definitely is some big news. Training camp is on the horizon, and the Pittsburgh Steelers still have a few holes on their roster. Obviously, that cornerback position definitely has a lot of question marks around it. That wide receiver 2 position also has a lot of questions surrounding it. But, I do think that the Pittsburgh Steelers can, fill these roster spots with the guys they have already in, Calvin Austin and some of the depth guys we have at cornerback. Corey Trice is still a young guy. A lot of room to develop, and Darius Slay is another big addition that the Pittsburgh Steelers have added this offseason, and we are probably going to go Beanie Bishop in that slot corner position. So, but we could look to add some more talent and send over a 4th or 5th round pick for a guy like Jaylen Ramsey, who has basically cut ties with Miami. Just told him, I want to get traded. I'm not going to play here anymore. And recently he did follow Deshaun Elliott and a few other Steelers on Instagram. So obviously that's not anything major, but it is some indication that Ramsey is willing to come here and play, and that he does have some interest to come play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And why wouldn't he? We're a great organization, a great defensive-minded head coach who obviously was a secondary guy in the past, played cornerback safety in college, knows the position, loves his veteran cornerbacks, and Jaylen Ramsey's still relatively young. He is only 30 years old, so he still has a few years left in the tank. 30 years old is not that old. He's still been a great player everywhere he's been. Going back, starting in Jacksonville, obviously a great lockdown corner, was top 5 corner in his first couple years in the league. Then he heads over to Los Angeles, where he wins the Super Bowl with the Rams, has a ton of success, racks up some more Pro Bowl, All-Pro seasons, and due to his salary, just like this situation, the Rams did have to get rid of him and did end up trading him to Miami, where he did have a lot of success upon his arrival. He did have, I believe, 4 or 5 picks earlier on in his tenure in Miami. Got to a Pro Bowl in only really playing a few games. And, he did experience kind of a drop-off this last year, but you got to look at the team surrounding him. A lot of those defensive guys on Miami have been hurt the past couple years, and their offense really does not have any stability the past couple years with Tua and Tyreek getting hurt, and, Tyreek just making some bonehead moves on and off the field. But if the Pittsburgh Steelers could make this move, I think it would be great for both parties. I think it would be great for Jaylen Ramsey. I think it would be great for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jaylen Ramsey gets a fresh start in Pittsburgh, in a town that's going to love him and appreciate his field, his plays on the field. We're going to appreciate that talk. Jaylen Ramsey is a guy that likes to talk on the field, likes to get in his opponent's head, which is definitely something the Pittsburgh Steelers could use on defense. We do have a lot of great defensive guys, but I don't really feel like we have a lot of defensive guys who really talk a lot of smack. And, obviously when you do talk that smack, you got to back it up. But I think this Pittsburgh Steelers team can back it up. Once we do lock down TJ Watt to this deal, which is going to happen, just whether the Pittsburgh Steelers want to get this deal done now or during training camp, I do think that deal's getting done. But obviously bringing in a guy like Jaylen Ramsey as well would really prove that the Pittsburgh Steelers are all in for this next year. We also did bring in a guy like Aaron Rodgers, which is a huge move for the Pittsburgh Steelers, something that I really never would have thought. If we go back a few years ago, I would have never thought that Aaron Rodgers would ever play in Pittsburgh, but I'm very happy that he is in Pittsburgh, and I do think he's going to have a ton of success. We obviously also added a guy in DK Metcalf, which is he's going to be a great weapon and number one wide receiver that is going to help us downfield, make those down the field plays, help us in the play action, and even help us in the run game. DK Metcalf is a guy that he can run block, he can catch the ball, he can do it all. So we do have the team to contend and make that run. And I think Jaylen Ramsey would love to come play in Pittsburgh. This is a very similar situation to when he headed over to the Rams. He's coming from an organization that wasn't winning much, had a lot of internal problems in the organization. Looking at the Jacksonville Jaguars from a few years ago when their defense kind of collapsed in on itself, Jaylen Ramsey kind of forced his way out of there, headed over to Los Angeles, who was in a mode where they were all in, they were ready to win. They got a guy like Matt Stafford, a veteran quarterback, just like Aaron Rodgers, who was ready to win, had some great receivers in Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, a great running game, and I think this is just going to be a similar situation. It really just depends on whether or not Omar and Mike Tomlin feel like they need to make this move. Like I said earlier, we already have some depth at that cornerback position. In Beanie Bishop at that slot cornerback position, who really emerged as a starter in his rookie year, coming out undrafted, which is crazy, but it's great to see another undrafted guy in Pittsburgh really doing well. Just like in the past, we look at guys like James Harrison, Mike Hilton, a lot of guys that come undrafted and have a lot of success in our team. But anyways, Jaylen Ramsey, 4th or 5th round pick, I would be willing to give it up. We do have a lot of picks coming up in this upcoming draft. I believe we do have 12 total picks. We do have a few 3rd round picks from losing some guys in free agency, and I think we're going to get some more compensatory picks, whether or not Russell Wilson and Justin Fields do start for their New York teams this offseason and how long they do play. I think if they play as a starter for most of the season, then we get better picks, but we'll have to wait and see. A lot of question marks in New York as usual, so we'll have to see about that, but we do have a lot of picks. We can make this move. It's really just up to Omar and Mike Tomlin just to evaluate the roster, evaluate the value, of a guy like Jaylen Ramsey, and really debate if he's worth taking that cap hit and signing to another deal, because we probably would have to sign him to one more deal. As he is 30, he probably is looking to play maybe 2 to 3 more years at that cornerback position. So we would have to sign him to another contract, and I really think it's up to Coach Tomlin to really evaluate our roster, see what's going on defense, see if we need that upgrade at the cornerback position, and see if we can make this move. But unfortunately, that's all I have for you guys tonight on Steelers Digest. If you guys not already currently subscribed, click that subscribe button down below. Thank you so much. Here we go, Steelers.